Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. So episode 1 of House of the Dragon was everything. And after I did my breakdown, I was still on fire. Like I was still hot. And y'all, I think I might have cracked the code. Like I really think I might be onto something here. I might be bugging. Y'all let me know. Anyway, grab your popcorn, because I got the juice. In the first episode of House of the Dragon, the episode was titled Heir of the Dragon. Season 1, episode 1, we're off to a good start. So we're introduced in this episode to a prophecy that we never had the knowledge of before. King Jacaerys tells Rhaenyra that there is a Targaryen secret, a secret that has passed from Aegon the Conqueror to his heir and to king to heir ever since. This prophecy was called A Song of Ice and Fire.
But ambition alone is not what drove him to conquest. It was a dream. And just as Daenerys foresaw the end of Valyria, Aegon foresaw the end of the world of men. Just to begin with a terrible winter.
So we know about 3 years ago when George R.R. Martin was doing interviews for the promotion of his new book, Fire and Blood Volume 1, he hinted at the idea that Aegon knew about the threat in the north, and that's why he forged 7 kingdoms into one with fire and blood. So the show clarifies this for us. Aegon had a dream. Prophetic dreams are not new to House Targaryen. Daenerys the Dreamer is the most infamous prophetic dreamer of House Targaryen. Daenerys had a dream that the doom would come to Old Valyria, and the Targaryens packed up everything and left with their dragons to the westernmost outpost of Valyria, Dragonstone. We also know soon after the doom did indeed come to Valyria, and the mighty freehold that was once the most powerful in the world met its cataclysmic end. Now, we know Aegon's dream is about the White Walkers, the Long Night. But Aegon's dream isn't the only prophecy that is going to be circling around. So during the Dance of Dragons, we also, out of Fire and Blood, get a prophecy. This prophecy, so before I continue, because I know people that have not read Fire and Blood watch my videos. So as I continue, there will be spoilers in this video from Fire and Blood. So another prophecy that is circulating during the Dance of Dragons is a prophecy about a hammer. It's a hammer. So during the Dance of Dragons, we have a few characters called the Dragon Seeds. The Dragon Seeds are bastard Targaryens that Rhaenyra recruits to ride the dragons that do not have riders. Well, actually her son recruits them, but whatever. Anyway, so Hugh the Hammer is one of them. Vermithor, the old king's dragon, actually bends his neck to him. Hugh the Hammer hears this prophecy. The prophecy goes as such. When the hammer shall fall upon the dragon, a new king shall rise, and none shall stand before him. So Hugh the Hammer thinks this prophecy applies to him, and he's going to be king. It doesn't apply to him. So the hammer that fell on the dragon and a new king rising sounds a lot like the Battle of the Trident. Robert's warhammer made it rain rubies on the Trident when he caved in Rhaegar's breastplate. Robert was the new king who rose. Or was he? Maybe it was the King of Winter. I'm gonna get there. So I started thinking about all this shit, prophecy and everything we know. I expect more about prophecy and White Walkers and all of this stuff to come out during the running of House of the Dragon season. However many seasons, I think little tidbits are gonna come out. I actually think it's gonna be a major plot point during the season, and I'm going to tell you why at the end of this video, or towards the end of this video. The word hammer is what sticks out to me. And it does because one of the most mysterious events that ever happened in the lore is the legend of the Hammer of the Waters. The Hammer of the Waters happened when the first men went to war with the children of the forest. The children fought back as best they could, but the first men were larger and stronger, riding their horses, clad and armed in bronze. The first men overwhelmed the elder race wherever they met, for the weapons of the children were made of bone and wood and dragon glass. Finally, driven by desperation, the little people turned to sorcery and beseeched their greenseers to stem the tide of these invaders. And so they did. gathering in their hundreds, some say on the Isle of Faces, and calling on their old gods with song and prayer and grisly sacrifice. 1,000 captive men were fed to the weirwood, one version of the tale goes, whilst another claims the children used the blood of their own young. And the old gods stirred, and giants woke in the earth, and all of Westeros shook and trembled. Great cracks appeared in the earth, and hills and mountains collapsed and were swallowed up, and then the seas came rushing in, and the arm of Dorne was broken and shattered by the force of the water, until only a few bare rocky islands remained above the waves. The summer sea joined the narrow sea, and the bridge between Essos and Westeros vanished for all time. There are many theories about the Hammer of the Waters. The general idea is that the children broke the arm of Dorne and flooded the neck to stem the tide of the invaders. Basically, they wanted to break the arm of Dorne so nobody else could come across. Like, that's what the Maesters say. But I don't think that's what happened at all. I think that the Hammer of the Waters was an effect from using such dark, powerful magic to create the White Walkers. Firstly, when the Maesters are telling this legend, they say, even if we accept that the old gods broke the arm of Dorne with the Hammer of the Waters, as the legends claim, the Greenseers sang their song too late. So breaking the arm of Dorne would not stop people from coming to Westeros, like boats existed, like let's be for real. So I don't think that's what they were trying to do. I think the Hammer of the Waters was an effect of using such ancient dark magic to create the White Walkers. Firstly, the White Walkers are the perfect weapon for the children of the forest. The reason the children were losing the war is because the men had the numbers. They outnumbered the children like 4-1. So the children created a weapon that turned men's numbers against them. Every dead first man would then be added to the undead army. The second and most important part that does not make any sense to me, right? They talk about this sacrifice, and there are two versions. One legend says they sacrificed 1,000 captives. The other legend says they used the blood of their own young. So the children of the forest could have sacrificed 100,000 captives, but what kind of sacrifice is that? These are people that they're at war with. Killing their enemy is not a sacrifice. Killing their own young is. Like, we see it with Stannis. The sacrifices that Melisandre wants Stannis to make are of his own blood. Edric Storm and Shireen. I think they sacrificed their own young. That would have been the only sacrifice they could have made. And they wouldn't have done that to break the arm of Dorne when ships exist. They would do that only to ensure the survival of their race. And the White Walkers, they thought, would do that. So it is my opinion that the children made the White Walkers, and during the making of them, it was such an abomination, it was so awful, such dark magic that it caused a chain reaction. The Hammers of the Waters was unleashed, and that's also probably why the seasons are so long, the summers are so long, the winters are so long, because the children threw everything that was natural out of order. They just fucked up the natural order when they made the White Walkers. So if you're following me, the White Walkers were made when the Hammer of the Waters happened. And this second metaphorical Hammer of the Waters is when they returned. You're probably like, Gray, what the fuck you talking about? But hear me out. The Battle of the Trident. The Battle of the Trident is when the White Walkers returned. The Battle of the Trident metaphorically was a Hammer of the Waters. In the water, Bobby B uses his hammer and drops the dragon, Rhaegar. Okay. So why is this important? Why would you consider this a Hammer of the Waters type of event? Okay, with the new bit of prophecy that we have about Aegon's dream and a Targaryen needing to be on the Iron Throne to ensure the survival of men, Aegon's dream, Aegon's secret, it's all undone by Robert's Warhammer. Because look, this dream, this secret has been passing from king to heir, king to heir, king to heir. The secret died with Rhaegar. Rhaegar's death cleared the way for the White Walkers. I also believe more people knew about this secret than we actually think. Firstly, as I've been saying, since George implied the idea that Aegon conquered because of the northern threat of the White Walkers, I think Aegon told Torrhen Stark, and that's why Torrhen Stark bent the knee. Game of Thrones depicts Jon bending the knee to Daenerys because he needs her help to defeat the White Walkers. As much as I think season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones was bullshit, I do think Jon and Dany will meet in Winds of Winter and Jon will be named King in the North due to Robb Stark's will or Robb Stark's letter. I also think he will bend the knee to a Targaryen to save the realm like Torrhen Stark did, because in A Song of Ice and Fire, history repeats. I thought this before Game of Thrones season 7 or 8 even came out. A commenter on my last video brought up a good point. It was likely not just a Targaryen secret, a fire secret. There was likely a Stark secret as well, an ice secret, and it was what Aegon told Torrhen. And let's say that this secret, also on the Stark side, likely passed from lord to heir as well, which means Lord Rickard Stark and his heir Brandon Stark would have known the secret. But both of them died during Robert's Rebellion, so the secret died with them as well. With Aerys and Rhaegar dead, Aegon's dream dies with them on the fire side. And with Brandon and Rickard dead, the ice side, the secret dies with them as well. And Ned doesn't know because he's a second son and the cup was never supposed to pass to him. Or does Ned know? We'll talk about that. So this is the ripest time for the White Walkers to come back. When the hammer falls on the dragon, with the hammer of the waters, yeah, White Walkers are returning. That's when they returned. Now, to continue on with this, we need to look at Rhaegar a little bit. So Rhaegar was like completely obsessed with this prophecy, right? A Song of Ice and Fire, the dragon has 3 heads, prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. It's never what you think it is, right? So Rhaegar thinks he needs a woman of ice to give him a son of ice and fire, Jon Snow. He thinks his children are the 3-headed dragon. Aegon, I guess he thinks it's him. He even makes his sigil the 3-headed dragon. Keep in mind, the Targaryens never had a sigil until Aegon decided to conquer Westeros. So during the Dance of Dragons, I think Jacaerys thinks it's him. Jacaerys Velaryon, aka Jace, is the son of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Rhaenyra Targaryen would have told Jace the secret right before Jace flies his dragon Vermax to Winterfell. Rhaenyra makes him her heir and names him Prince of Dragonstone, which means he learns the prophecy right before he leaves for Winterfell. Now, when he's in Winterfell, there are some interesting reports about what goes down with Jace. Mushroom says that Jace fell in love with Sarah Snow, Cregan Stark's bastard sister, and they got married at a secret wedding in the Godswood at Winterfell. But we don't know what's true and what's false, because there are also rumors that Jace's dragon Vermax laid a clutch of eggs in Winterfell's crypts. But what we do know is there was a pact formed, and the pact has a very interesting name. The pact was called the Pact of Ice and Fire. So listen, Jace flies to Winterfell. He just learns about the Song of Ice and Fire right before he leaves because he's just named heir, so he just finds out about it. And then he makes a Pact of Ice and Fire. A Pact of Ice and Fire is what it's called in the books. And I think this Pact of Ice and Fire, as it's called in the books, is what won Rhaenyra the support of House Stark. I think it's a pact between Jace and Cregan to band together when the white winds blow and the White Walkers come in the night. I think the secret, if Rhaenyra never got to tell Aegon III, guess who told him? Cregan Stark told him. When Cregan Stark comes for his hour of the wolf, Cregan Stark tells Aegon III. And I think Rhaegar and Lyanna tried to finish what Jace started in Winterfell with Sarah Snow and Cregan Stark. Aerys kills the Starks. Robert kills the Targaryens, and the White Walkers' time is ripe for conquest. But what do you think? I can't wait to see what more info we get on this, but I definitely think Bobby B brought down the hammer of the waters on Rhaegar, and that's when the White Walkers returned. But what do you think? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone that supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the Sweet Summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.